Trader Talk radio show. My name's Chloe, for those of you who maybe haven't heard much from me recently. And I'm going to be with you for the next half an hour or so doing some market analysis for our pre-week setup before we start trading for this week. So what I usually do is I usually start with things that I very, very commonly trade, which at the moment are a couple of commodities, gold, silver, the oils, some US stock indices, and then I move on to currencies. So we've got the chart of gold up here. Let me take you to the monthly chart for those of you who haven't seen my analysis for a while, so you can see where I get some of my levels from. So a lot of the levels come from all the way back in 2011, 2012, where we had the previous all-time highs from 2011 just here. And that's a horizontal level, which all the way into the future has been tested again and again. So that's a very important level. That's around 1917, thereabouts. There's a level of support down here where this triple top pattern here is this level that really price struggled to get back above all the way through the rest of 2011 and 2012. So that's a strong level of support for me. Over the time frame, we can see a couple more levels here. We've got this strong level here, 19, that's the level that price has very recently in the last couple of weeks bounced quite strongly from in order to start this little bit of an uptrend that we see ourselves in at the moment. Below, I always like to have a couple of levels above price and a couple of levels below. So I've got a couple of high levels of resistance up here, just from previous touches. And the all-time high level up here is slightly higher than that, isn't it? Around 2074 or thereabouts. So those are my horizontal levels. The reason I've got a completely blank chart just with horizontal levels is because that's how I tend to do my weekly analysis. I'm not really interested in indicators, moving averages, pivots, anything like that. I just want to see where price is in relation to the horizontal levels. It's like my roadmap for trading. So going down to the daily, then that's the that I actually use to execute trades on, is the daily time frame. And what we can see here on the daily time frame is we do have a bit of an uptrend. We had this inverted head and shoulders pattern down here. Let me see if I can draw that in for you, those of you that might not see it as very obvious. So there's the left hand shoulder there, right hand shoulder there. Okay, so that's the inverted head and shoulders pattern, which then it happened to form at this horizontal level, which was that strong horizontal level from way back in 2011, 1917. And we've then seen since then a bit of an uptrend. So we've got higher lows and higher highs. So that's been very nicely tradable over the last couple of weeks. Now, don't yet have the time is we don't have a continuation. So this is the daily time frame. We haven't yet seen a bullish candle. So over here, for example, that was a bullish candle, which meant that we could start to anticipate the start of the next move to the upside. We haven't got that. And in fact, we've got quite bearish price action here. We've got a bearish, very bearish candle there, followed by another bearish candle. So a couple of bearish candles from the end of last week. We have not yet seen this turn around to be a return of the uptrend. Not only that, but this happens to be happening at this level of what has been support, has also been resistance over here. The fact that price is reacting strongly at this level suggests to me that the momentum of this move is slowing, and price may struggle actually to break above there. This is quite a deep retracement. If we go from here up to the top there. This is quite a deep retracement here. So there may not be a continuation. There may just be a further move up, followed by perhaps a lower high, and price might actually stay within this range here. That's one of the options. So really, the thing that I'm looking for is I'm looking to see what's going to happen at around this level. I will go down a time frame just to check what's happening on a lower time frame, but to me this price action looks like it wants to put in a lower high at this horizontal level or around this horizontal level, and perhaps move to the downside or stay in a sideways kind of range for a little while. So I'm not 100% convinced that I'm actually going to be trading gold this week. I need to let price action lead. If it gets back up this horizontal level, then absolutely I will 100% be looking for long opportunities. But if it stays beneath this horizontal level here, then I'm more likely in the short term, intraday, to be actually looking for potential short opportunities, but at reduced risk because the trend overall is still bullish on this daily time frame. So that's my outlook on gold. Perhaps I will be trading it a bit less this week. Silver is very similar. I trade silver in a very similar way to the trade gold. Again, going up to the month, just so you can see a bigger picture of where these levels are from. So this horizontal level up here around 26.17 or thereabouts, it's from all the way back here again in 2012. Was a level of support, has been resistance more recently as well. There's another level here around 24.7, which has been a resistance back here in 2013, has also been resistance from 2021, 2022, etc. So those are the couple of levels that are important to me right now, as well as this lower level down here around 21. It's difficult to get an exact level there, but you can see how it's been resistance over here from 2016. And then I've just moved it up to be a little bit more relevant to most recent price here from 2021 as this support level. So it's around 21.4 or thereabouts to be conservative. And that's the lower level of support there. So where price currently is it's sitting just around this middle level here. I'm looking for price either to turn around and get back above this level, which it's very, very close to at the moment, or I'm looking for it to put in a lower high and continue moving downwards, perhaps even down to this lower level down here. So at the moment, again, it's waiting for price action to lead before I make any decisions. I need price to be above this horizontal level ideally before I return to trading long on silver. It is still in an uptrend, higher lows, higher highs in price action right now. So I am more bullish than I am bearish, but I would like it to get back above this horizontal level here, or alternatively, see how far this pullback goes. Because if the pullback does manage to perhaps make it down, maybe as far as around here, put in a bullish candle, then there might be enough reward to risk to trade it long, even if it then does put in a lower high. So we'll just have to wait on this one as well. I think I'll probably be trading silver a lot less this week as well after the couple of weeks of uptrend that we've had. Now the crude oils, having been in very, very sideways range-bound markets for quite some time, they did break out to the upside and they are actually continuing upwards. It's probably more helpful if I remove these, because they can lead to a little bit of unconscious bias, these indicators. So just looking at price action on the daily time frame, we've got higher lows and higher highs. Price is coming up to a reasonably strong level of resistance over here. So we can see that down here, support, over here, resistance. So that's a fairly strong level. I'd like to see that level broken. But I am still, as long as price manages to break up above this level. If it fails, then I will be looking probably at price coming back into some kind of ranging price action. I'm less likely to trade that if that happens. Looking at Brent as well, it is currently moving upwards. I'm happy to continue trading long. We can see this horizontal level of what was support over here has become resistance now, and price is currently just above that level. So I am happy to continue trading long, likely on the intraday timeframes. And we'll wait and see what happens, whether a lower high gets put in here or whether it can manage to break to a new high, in which case I'll continue with my bullish stance. So those are the few commodities that I'm looking at in the show for this week. Also want to look at the US stock indices because they have really nicely of late as well. So the NASDAQ still trending upwards, still showing higher lows and higher highs. It's had a couple of days of retracement, almost bringing us back down to these previous highs here. So it's in a nice area to anticipate a potential return to an uptrend, and that's what I'm looking for there. If we just have a look where we are overall, we're not yet at all-time highs, so I'm concerned about struggling to break to new highs. There is a slight level of resistance up here, which price has already hit and bounced down from. So that I'm going to be slightly aware of, but as things stand, still in an uptrend. The US 30 hasn't been performing as well as the other two major US stocks, the NASDAQ and the US 500. But the last few days, last week really, it broke well above this area of resistance here, which it was really struggling. And since then, it's been pretty bullish. So at the moment, I'm waiting for a pullback here, but we're not close to all-time highs. So there's plenty of space for price to actually continue running upwards. And I'm going to be continuing to look for long opportunities here, perhaps after a bit of a retracement on that daily time frame. And the US 500 as well. The retracement looks like it started already. So I'll be looking for that to come down. And again, looking to all-time highs. We're not quite there yet. We're not quite at the next level of resistance, which is up here around 4638 or thereabouts with this previous high here. So there's plenty of space to run to the upside, just waiting for perhaps a bit more retracement and then a further move to the upside, or indeed seeing what is available on the lower timeframes. It looks to me like it needs to retrace a little bit further before returning to the upside. So on to the currencies then. Euro dollar, another thing that has been trending nicely to the upside lately. So that's another one on my watch list for long. The next horizontal level above price, which we can see it's this minor horizontal level here. It's been resistance a lot over here, support here, support again over here. So price is just approaching that level, but the next major level of resistance is quite a bit further up the top of this area of range here, resistance here, resistance over here. So there's certainly potential for the euro to move further upwards, perhaps after more of a pullback. So I'm still bullish on the euro. The pullback has not finished, but we also have this previous high area here. So this area here was fairly strong resistance. So if price comes down to that area, then I would be looking for a return to the uptrend. Cable, I'm also very bullish on. It is retracing currently, and it's a pretty strong retracement. But we do still have higher lows and higher highs in place. It didn't quite make it up to this horizontal level up here. You'll notice that on my charts, I have completely blank charts and I'm drawing my own horizontal levels on. I'm not using Trade Manager or Market Scanner for this. I think it's best practice. I think when you do your beginning of the month and beginning of the week market analysis, I think it's lazy to just rely on that are already drawn on for you. I think it's really good practice to draw your own levels and see how price reacts on there around them. It will really, really help to build your confidence. So I would strongly recommend starting with a completely blank chart and seeing if you can draw your own horizontal levels on. Perhaps open two charts side by side, draw your own levels on to start with, and then open another chart with the horizontal levels on the market if you're using it, and compare the two, just so that you're getting practice of drawing these horizontal. It's invaluable skill. Horizontal levels are the things that make my trading clearer than anything else, clearer than any indicators or any strategies or anything. The horizontal levels really are key. So anyway, this is currently retracing. I am looking for a return to the upside, although this is a very steep retracement, and I'm again anticipating the potential for perhaps a return to the upside followed by some kind of lower high, and either a range between these 2 points or even a move to the downside. So I'm not necessarily expecting this trend to go on forever, but at the moment it is still in an uptrend, so I do have to continue looking for long opportunities once the uptrend resumes, if it resumes. Dollar Swiss has been trending fairly similarly to euro. It does tend to move quite similarly to euro. It's trending to the downside, just pulling back at the moment. Perhaps we're due a little bit more back. You'll also notice I've got my monthly support and resistance levels on. I do use monthly support and resistance levels to give an indication of overextension, and I would certainly say that dollar Swiss is looking overextended at the moment. In terms of where we are currently, though, what is most key for me is this horizontal level here. This is a pretty hard horizontal level here. Price has not been beneath this level since 2011. There was a spike down here, but it was just a spike. It closed well back above. Price has not traded properly below this level since 2011. Even then, it wasn't, there wasn't any pronounced trend beneath here. It was just a strong move down to that point, and then a strong move up, and it's been above there ever since. So that could mean one of two things. That could mean either we're extremely bearish here, and I am extremely bearish here actually, while price remains beneath this horizontal level here. I am bearish on the currency pair, and I would love to see actually price return to this level and a bounce to the downside. I would love to see that, and I would love to trade that. The other thing we have to be aware is that it's not heard of for the Swiss National Bank to intervene when the currency pair, when the currency gets too high in value. So we have to be aware of that, and we can't rule out the fact that there could be an intervention, and that would override any trends, any existing trends. But for the moment, I am bearish on dollar Swiss. I am bullish on dollar yen at the moment. Having said that, there's a clear trend on the daily time frame. There is no clear trend on the daily time frame. We've got lower lows and higher highs at the moment. So this is no trend. We're just approaching this horizontal level area over here. A bit of support, a bit of resistance over here. We're just approaching that, so there could be a reaction here. There could be a pullback. If there is a pullback, then I'll just be waiting for the uptrend to resume, I think, because this has been a strong move to the upside. I would be looking for a pullback and then a return to the upside, at least in the short term. There are a couple of other things to keep an eye on in terms of yen crosses. Aussie yen is looking bullish at the moment. There's a higher low and a higher high in place. So I'm looking for that to potentially continue. Pound yen also looking bullish, and bearing in mind I'm bullish on the pound as well. Just getting in mind some horizontal levels up here. So we're just above this horizontal level here, and there's a little way to go to the next one. So pound yen I am bullish on, looking for intraday longs on pound yen. Swiss yen I'm also very bullish on, partly because I'm very bullish on the Swiss franc at the moment, and partly just because that is it just looks extremely bullish. It's trending strongly to the upside. I'm looking for longs on all of the intraday timeframes here at the moment, unless there's an intervention on the Swiss franc. Euro yen also looking bullish, just approaching these previous highs over here. So that we need to just be careful and see, is price going to react at this level, or is it going to manage to break through this level? Again, we don't really have much above where price currently is until we get all the way up to, let's be conservative and say this level here, which is a long way away. So plenty of room to trade upwards if price manages to break through this previous high here. So Euro yen I'm also very bullish on. So those are a couple of the yen crosses, and then there are quite a few other things that I want to look at actually. So let's move on to the Kiwi and the Aussie. Kiwi is not trending that nicely at the moment. We do see higher lows and higher highs, but this is now a very deep retracement, and I'm actually more bearish on this. There's no trend to speak of. On the lower time frames, I'm bearish, but I would say that's one that I'm probably going to overlook for this week, at least for the first few days of this week. See more what's happening with price. Aussie I'm fairly bearish because of the fact it stayed or it's broken back below and then stayed below this horizontal level here. The next strong horizontal level is down at these lows down here, so there's quite a way that price can go down there. I'm fairly bearish on Aussie. Aussie Swiss, I'm bearish on Aussie Swiss. It's broken down. Look where price currently is. It's broken down beneath this previous low, and the only time it's really been lower than this was 2020, and this strong spike down here. So I'm very bearish on Aussie Swiss. Again, this is very Swiss dependent, Swiss franc dependent, but at the moment, lower highs, lower lows. There's a nice downtrend. It's beneath this here, which was the level of support. So I'm looking for shorts on Aussie Swiss. Dollar CAD, is dollar CAD going to turn around at this point? That is the question. It's at a key horizontal level, and it's just on the daily time frame now forming a higher low. Is it going to break up above this horizontal level and form a higher high as well? That's what I'm waiting to see. Kiwi Swiss, I'm bearish. That's a nice strong downtrend. And again, if we look at the monthly time frame, it's not really been much lower than this. Back in 2020, there was this spike here, even approaching that. There's even approaching those real lows of that spike. So that's something to be aware of. But until it does get there, I'm remaining bearish. Pound Swiss I've got on my watch list to show you, but simply because it is at or currently reacting at this horizontal level here. We can see this level of support. And I'm very interested to see if price does manage to get beneath this horizontal level, in which case I'll be extremely bearish. As things stand, fairly bullish on the pound at the moment, so it could be that price is going to find support at this level here, and head back towards the top. I know that's not the top of the range, but there is a horizontal level in that area, or more towards the highs of the range up here. So I'll be looking to see which of those two options happens, whether it is going to break down beneath this horizontal level of support, much as a lot of the other Swiss cross pairs have done, or is this level going to hold and it head back towards the highs of the range there? Pound CAD, I'm fairly bullish on pound CAD at the moment. It's pulled back to a nice area here, this previous high, and currently looking fairly bullish. It's pulled back a little bit further than I would have liked, actually, but still looking bullish at the moment, still in an uptrend. It's a pretty clean chart, so I'll be looking for that to see if that returns to the upside there. And I believe that brings me to the end of my watch list for the week, really. So look out for actually this week. You have such a watch list, but there are quite a few pairs that I see as being fairly near to key horizontal levels where I'm waiting for the point. And so I'm not necessarily trading them right now, but I'm certainly watching very keenly to see what is going to happen at these horizontal levels, because it is in preparation that we find the best trades. And it's always, or more often than not, things that I haven't necessarily traded for a while, but I have a clear picture in my mind of where my roadmap is, where my horizontal levels are, and where I'm looking for price to move between. And is there a chart pattern there? Some kind of pattern of consolidation? Is there some kind of reversal pattern which, once triggered or once realized, is going to lead to potentially the start of a trend, which could be then tradable for several days, weeks, even months? So it's in the preparation that is really key. And not everything that I look at might actually end up turning into a trade. And that's why it's kind of important to look at lots of at the beginning of the week, so that you have a lot of options of things that could turn into, even if an uptrend starts, perhaps your strategy doesn't quite give you an entry opportunity, or you know, there could be any reason perhaps you might not be trading that day that happens, for example. So lots of things can happen, but by preparing really well at the beginning of the week, we give ourselves the best chance of picking the best few trades for that week. So that's it from me for this week. I will speak to you sometime soon. Happy trading, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll speak soon.